Hey everybody, this is Kevin from Fort Orange Woodworking, and I am really excited about today's video because I am going to be reviewing the AP700 Air Locker Air Punch Nailer. Now, this is kind of a bit of a luxury purchase for me. It's not terribly expensive, but just one that I couldn't really justify up to this point. But as you know, if you've seen my videos before, I really like to work with pallet wood. It's a cheap source, usually free, way to get some quality wood or to get a really rustic look without having to put a lot of effort into it or spending any money. So this Air Punch locker, what this will do is it's basically a reverse nailer, and I'll show you what I mean. So if you take a piece of pallet wood and it's got the nails in it, you need to drive those nails back out to make this usable again. So what the Air Punch nailer does is it's a reverse nailer. Instead of punching the nails in, it punches them back out. And this is a huge time saver if you're going to be using a lot of pallet boards. So I stumbled across a post on Facebook Marketplace where somebody was giving away essentially a truckload of disassembled pallet wood, but the nails were still in it. They were going to use it for a project. They decided they were going to change their mind, and that benefits me, so I don't have to go ahead and disassemble all of those pallets now. But what I do need to do is remove the nails. So this thing's going to be a huge time saver. Let's go ahead and see what we have in the box. All right, so here's what we got in the box. This is the AP700 Air Locker Air Punch Nailer. It's a pneumatic tool, so it runs off your air compressor. It can handle nails from 0.06 inches to 0.16 inches, which is pretty standard for nail sizes. And you can get this off of Amazon or other online sites for somewhere around 55 bucks or so, maybe less if you get a deal. I think that's what I paid for this, somewhere around there. However, with the amount of time it was going to take me to bust up a couple hundred pallet boards, this was totally justified in the amount of time that I'm saving, the money investment for me. So inside the box we've got the operating instructions, the manual, which is really just warnings and parts. Doesn't give you a whole lot except for some troubleshooting tips. Inside the box, not much. We've got the air locker. It works on like a driving tip mechanism, basically. So this piece here will have a punch that comes through and knocks your nail out backwards. And in the secondary bag, we have some oil to keep it working clean, and an Allen wrench. That's it. That's all that comes to it. And the Allen wrench is to adjust this if you need to replace the driving tip. I'm not sure what they call it. We can take a look in here. The driver guide. Okay, so not much to it. Doesn't require any assembly, so I'm going to move this stuff out of my way. Okay, so I have gone ahead and attached the 1/4 inch adapter for my Quick Connect, and I didn't have my extra accessories for my air compressor available, so I just took one from my tire inflator. It happened to be the same size, which is fairly universal for most air compressor tools. And upon connecting it, I noticed that there was quite a bit of air leakage. So I went and wrapped a little bit of just cheap $1 plumber's tape around my threads, and that solved a good amount of the leakage, but not all of it. In fact, my compressor ran to replenish the air supply while I was doing that, and I added to it by just wrapping about half a roll of this into whatever leakage was remaining here, and it seems to be pretty good. I can definitely still hear some air leakage, but in all honesty, that may be a result of my hose, which is a bit of a budget hose and could use a replacement. But I'm okay with it. It's a very, very small amount of leakage. It may run the compressor again while I'm using the tool, but that's not a big deal to me. So I'm okay with this. I'm gonna go ahead and see what this thing can do. All right, here's what I have for my very elaborate nail catching mechanism. I've got a regular old 5-gallon bucket, and I've got a paper bag with sawdust in it. I already had the paper bag, so this isn't really part of the mechanism. It was just convenience. So the sawdust, in theory, is going to catch these nails without them bouncing off of the plastic and maybe shooting back towards me or floating around the shop. Should give them a nice soft landing. I've got it centered over here, and these are fairly straight right now. I just kind of bent them with my fingers. Let's give it a go. This is our first trial run. Never done this before. I hope this is awesome, because this is going to be a huge time saver. Ready? Here we go. Wow. Let's do another one. Okay, so here are my initial impressions. Here's the board. Nails are gone. I'm going to take these off so I'm not yelling. The nails are gone, and they seem to have been driven pretty hard into the sawdust, because I don't see them on top. I'm gonna have to dig for these to check out their condition. And I probably have about 4 inches of sawdust in here. I think I got a chip of plastic. Let's keep digging. All right, I've got a better idea. I'm gonna shoot some more nails in until I find one that's easy to grab, and then we're going to do a little bit more of a thorough analysis. But so far, that was really cool. It was really quiet. It was a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a louder pop, and it was really smooth, so there was no like kickback or anything like that. So it seems like it's pretty light pressure on the exit. Let's do some more nails, and then I'm going to see the condition that they're in, because we're going to reuse these. All right, I'm going to try one not centered over the board, aiming it straight down. See if I can do this with basically just one hand. No problem. This one's straight as well. Little bit of spark. There's a little bit of spark that comes out of the driver. I still don't see a single nail. I've driven 4 out. They're in the sawdust somewhere. They're not just sitting on the top. Let's try these guys. These guys have got a bit of an angle too. Nice clean board. Nails are gone. This thing is cool. All right, let's do a couple more. I'll probably speed up the camera for this, and hopefully we can find some nails at the end. All right, here we go. Let's see how quick I can move through this. So I've already thought about one way that I can improve this. Rather than me dangling this board over, I'm going to get a second bucket so that this is level, so that I can do the end pieces, because there's going to be twice as many end pieces as there are center. So I'm going to get another bucket, stabilize this, keep going. This time, so we're not showing brand loyalty. Can't accuse me of favoritism. Alright, so I am up in my garage where I'm working on removing the nails from the big pile of pallet wood that I had, and I want to show you a couple of things. This is a very clean piece of wood, so it's going to show the whole size of the punch itself very well on this one. And this is a nice clean board, so I'm going to use it for this demonstration. And the other one. Okay, now I want you to see the hole size. That's as big as the hole that the nail punch makes. And as a demonstration, I'm going to take the other side here, put pressure down. Oop, I got a dead fly here. I'm going to leave the nails right where they are and show you the punch size next to it. Okay, so compared to the nail, that's how big the punch is. Not much bigger. It's actually about the size of the head of the nail. Now, since I have this, I also, since I'm in a safe location here, I want to show you what the punch itself looks like as it exits the air locker. Ready? Here we go. You saw that punch. I'm going to do it one more time. It extends about 3/4 of an inch, I'd say. It punches and then retracts itself. There it is. And one more thing worth noting is the trigger pressure on this is very, very light. So be careful if you go to put this thing down. If you put it down on like an edge or something, it will go off. And that was even a double tap. So just be careful where you set this down. I even set it on some bungee cords here, and it was enough to set it down. Very light trigger. Make sure that your finger's not on the trigger until you're ready to use it. And of course, keep your fingers out from underneath. All right, back to work for me. All right, so here are some of my final thoughts on the AP700 Air Locker Air Punch Nailer. This thing is already one of my favorite time-saving tools. I just ripped through 8 boards worth of nail punching in a matter of seconds. In fact, the longest part of the whole process was figuring out my nail collection system and talking into the camera. Other than that, I've got a couple hundred more boards to go, and I'm just gonna fly through these. I know that this is gonna be well worth the $50–55 that I spent for it, in the time that it's gonna save me from hammering all those nails through the boards and prying them at the end. This is gonna be a huge time saver. It's not overly powerful. The punch rod knocks almost all of them into the sawdust, but some of them I still had to pluck out of the board at the end, but not a big deal. Not a single nail failed to go back through the hole, and also not a single board was damaged by using this. So I didn't have to tear through more wood fibers. This was a much cleaner, more efficient way of getting the nails out. They do make a more a beefier model of this nail puncher. You can splurge if you want to and try that one out. I think for my purposes, this one's going to be perfectly sufficient. The biggest thing that I do recommend is get that safety collection system. The bucket with the sawdust worked really well for me. Not a single nail bounced out. They all landed safely in that sawdust, unless they were still stuck at the bottom of the board. And when I introduced 2 buckets for leveling, that made it even safer, so I didn't have to hold a wobbly board against my bucket at an angle. So come up with your own system if you need to, but that worked really well for me. So that is it for the AP700 Air Locker Air Punch Nailer review. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have tried this yourself, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment for me in the section on my YouTube channel. Also, please remember to check out my other videos and subscribe. And remember, I do have an Etsy page, Fort Orange Woodworks, as well as Facebook and Instagram. Please check me out there if you like the content. And I will see you all next time in the shop. Take care, everyone. Thanks.